Come with me and you'll be in a world of come. I mean, if you're coming with me, well, what else did you expect? If we're coming together, we're just going to be in a world of cum. There's just going to be cum everywhere. Two persons at least. I mean, if everybody watching this is coming with, that's hundreds potentially, thousands potentially of people, of people's cum. Have you ever seen those videos where they all go in like a thing and then they pour it on the, or they get someone to drink it? I don't watch those concerts. I can't now. I live in England. Everything's banned. Come with me and you'll be in a world full of fucking semen on the floor and the walls. It's even dripping down from the ceiling. Two friends are talking, and one friend says to the other one, "Oh, hey, do you want to come with me real quick?" And then the first friend says, "Oh, yeah, sure. Where are we going?" And the first friend goes, "Going? I'm not going anywhere. What are you talking about?" And then the other friend goes, "But I thought you... Oh. I see what you're saying. I get your meaning. I catch your drift. I am picking up what you are putting down. Let's do some cum. Yeah, let's make some cum. I was gonna say, I didn't intend to open up today's episode with a whole just talking about cum, but actually I did. I even told someone, this is funny, I'm going to open up my podcast with it. That's how planned ahead this was. I love how Ewan just comes up with funny stuff on just out of his head. Yeah, I do, but sometimes days in advance. This was earlier this morning. I came up with. I saw a clip of somebody talking about Willy Wonka's Wonka factory. Willy Wonka and the Wonka Wactory. Wonka Wanktory. No, Willy Wanka's Wanking Wanktory. What are the little guys called? The Wanka Loompas? That wasn't funny. And then, so I saw there was somebody talking about that, and then there was the song "Come with Me," and I thought, come. And then I thought of the whole everything I just said, and then I've now said it in my video. Aren't I crass and vulgar? Don't show me to your kids. Don't put me on for the. I'm not for the children. I'm for the children. I'm in favour of children. You know those people who are like, "Oh, I fucking hate children. Fucking hate it. Oh, pieces of shit." I mean, I hate children as much as I hate anyone else. As much as I hate just people. They get in the way. They're loud and obnoxious. They fucking spit on the floor. Someone did that the other day right in front of me. Just fucking was walking in front of me. Just on the floor. Like, I spit for like somewhat comic effect now and then, to be disgusting, to like play the part of the disgusting, vile little rodent man that I am. But not out in public. I don't just spit. People who just spit out in public are fucking disgusting. I fucking hate them. And that's in the same way that, like, I hate anyone who's just a bit annoying sometimes. Fine. So when it comes to children, I've got a vasectomy because I don't want children. But it doesn't mean I don't like children. I like them, and I think they should be protected and kept safe. The Online Safety Act is not for that. We've talked about that. But in general, to a degree, don't show my videos to children. I'm not made for children. That's why I got vasectomy, because I'm not made for children. I'm not made for children, and therefore I'm not making children. That's a part I had not planned on fucking talking about, or whatever. So you get some kind of reality in this barrage of nonsense. Not for children, but the mums like me though. Here's another pre-planned bit that I have noted down. Talk about this because it was on your mind and therefore is something worth talking about. Mums like me. From back in the day when I was a church-going lad, even like olden day church before when I was a kid when I had to go, and then later on I stopped going, but then I started going again because of a girl. Because of a wonderful, insanely gorgeous girl, like ridiculously gorgeous, incredibly pretty girl. That how could I not? Like literally, that's why shit happens in the world. That's why men go to war. It's because this girl, and she was a member of the church. And we had known each other from before, and we both grew up a bit, but separately. And then, I was talking to this person. I mentioned her. We got in touch. We started talking. We hanging out. She said she liked me. She wanted to be with me, but she couldn't if I wasn't going to church. And so I go to church. But even before then, so that was my second round of going to church. My first round, even. The mums loved me. They loved that I was little cute Ewan, just such a cute little gentlemanly kid, just a nice, lovely. And then they'd be like, "Oh, Ewan, come and give me a hug. Haven't seen you all week. Give me a hug." And I'd hug them, and they'd always say, "Oh, you give such good hugs, Ewan." The mums, they fucking loved it. And I did give good hugs, and I do give good hugs because I know how to give a good fucking hug. You give a good hug because you want to give a good fucking hug, and you apply the right amount of pressure. Depending on the person, you can give them a good fucking squeeze, but you put your hands sort of not on their lower back, but like just under the rib cage, and one sort of on the shoulder, and you squeeze. You actually don't just hug them, but you hug them and you pull them in and squeeze a bit. You give a good I'm in this. I'm a part of this. We are two people literally, physically connecting. Bring them in. Fucking hug. But then, because what you'll do is as they join you in that, you'll feel their muscles relax into it as they become part of the hug. But then the moment you feel their muscles ever so slightly tense up just the tiniest bit as you can feel them about to move. Like if you look at somebody, this is how Darren Brown does it as well. He can look at somebody and tell them in their mind to say the first letter of a name or something in their head. Don't say it out loud. Don't open your mouth, but say it in your head, because sort of subconsciously your muscles react to that and kind of move in a certain way that different vowels. Your mouth and the muscles in your face move different ways to create different vowels, obviously. And that's visible if you know what to pay attention to. I'm not saying I can do that, but I'm aware of that being a thing. That you can, if you pay attention to it, you can kind of see sort of the movements someone's mouth is about to make based on the muscles in their face. And then you can gather a letter they might be about to say of a name. And that's partly how Darren Brown does his thing. Similarly with bodies, you can feel the muscle tension as body parts sort of stop and start moving. So then as you're hugging somebody, and you can feel their muscles relax into it if they are genuinely wanting the hug. They relax into it. But then it might be a couple of seconds, it might be a bit longer. You start to feel the muscles tense and move a bit, and you can feel them about not pulling away, but about to be pulling away. Then you release the pressure of you squeezing, and it's a perfectly timed hug. It's like you have some intuition that you know when to hug and when to release the hug, and that's part of what makes a good fucking hug. Because I give good fucking hugs because I care. Also, mums have tits, and if you're hugging a mum, you get to be pressed against some tits. And that's one of the best feelings ever, literally ever, is having boobs pressed against you, or in any. Your face is obviously going to be one of the best parts, and your penis, if you have one. If you don't, your vagina. Do tits feel good pressed against a vagina? You could slip one inside. Tits being pressed against a pair of tits, big, small, whatever, is phenomenal. One of literally one of the greatest pleasures on earth. And if you're smart about it, you can just do it. People enjoy hugging in general, and anytime someone hugs you, you can be pressed against a pair of tits. If the person has a pair of tits, maybe even a man. There are men can have tits. Trans men, bulkier men. Tits are good. And if you just don't be weird about it and just enjoy it quietly, they know it's happening, but it's in a moment that it's like it's sort of appropriate. And if you're not weird about it, don't go, oh, I just pressed against your tits. Then they're never going to want to hug you again. But if you're just cool with it and just enjoy it for what it is, just being pressed against their tits. And there's no feeling like it, because if someone presses an arm or a leg or something, anything against you, it's just a bit of the body. It's just sort of bone and skin, and it's weird. But there's a different feeling when it's a tit pressing against you. It's something precious. And it might be, depending on the size, the height of the woman, it might be like against your stomach or your chest, or it might get closer to your face if it's a particular tool. If you're a younger guy, like as I was back in the day, there's an older woman giving you a hug, and there's a fat tit right in your face. And not just that, but a fat Mormon tit, Christian tits, clothed Christian tits, because it's nothing sexual, because they won't be sexual, because they're devout Christians and Mormons. But you can have a married clothed Mormon tit pressed against your face for free, because they like hugging, and they don't it's not a sexual thing to them. It's not a sexual thing to me necessarily. It's just nice to have a tit pressed against you once in a while. It's blissful. It's quite literally nothing like it. No amount of, like, you can buy pillows and like fleshy things made to feel like tits, but it's never the same. Believe me, I've tried. It's never the same. Like, you can put some sponges in a cup with like a plastic rubber glove and then lube. You can make a fake vagina. It doesn't feel like a real vagina. It's something to put your knob in, sure, but it doesn't feel like a real vagina. Just like you cannot replicate, you cannot beat the feeling of a tit. It's the fucking best. And their mums, they're loving and kind and giving. They might be really full breasts from milk and shit. And they're just, because I was a lovable little scamp and they loved me. Sweet little Ewan, oh, come give me a hug, Ewan. And they wanted it, and they wanted to press their tits on me. I mean, maybe not quite that, but just saying. I got a bit carried away, honestly, talking about hugging mums and their tits took me somewhere mentally and emotionally. So much so, I almost forgot we have a beverage this week. Oh, it's an Arizona all-natural kiwi strawberry fruit juice cocktail. It's like the Arizona iced tea, I guess. I'm not, like, I can get these. There's a couple of stores that sell them. I can get them, but I don't really fucks with them. But it's kiwi strawberry juice fruit juice cocktails. Cock. Let's all pretend I didn't just buy it purely on the basis of it having the word cock on a can. That would be immature. Look, we're adults. We drink from glasses. I like the colour. Looks like a rosé, doesn't it? A nice rosé. That's not me talking about wine. That's just how I pronounce rose because I'm stupid in my head. Not really. I think that's the sort of colour rosé is. Maybe a bit lighter and a bit redder. Actually, in actual. Oh, it's not. I thought it was. I didn't think it was going to be fizzy, carbonated, but because I have had them before, just not very often. But it's always odd having a can that's not shit from a can. You just expect it to be fizzy, don't you? That was supposed to be a burp. I apologise. I hereby apologise for my burp being wholly inadequate. But I'm drinking non-fizzed liquids. What do you expect? That was a bit better. Not great, but it's okay. The taste is a little bit bland, but it's wet, and it goes in my mouth hole, down my neck gap, into my piss pipe, which is what I smoke of an afternoon. I smoke a piss pipe. Hey, have you ever seen books? Books are cool. This is the oldest book I own. Fuck knows when it's from. It probably says so, like 1980. Oh, look, it's falling apart like everything else I own. Like my life, it's falling to pieces before my very eyes. 1984! It says first published 1983. Reprint, oh, okay. 1983, 1984. What is this? Orwell's 1984? Have you ever read that book? I have. Bit at the end, a boot on the... Just picture a boot on a face a lot. This is the oldest book I own. I remember looking through this book. It was just around when I was a kid. I think this was in amongst a bunch of shit that we got given because we used to get free shit all the time. But like hand-me-downs from other people. Shit that other people were going to throw out. We were like a charity case as a poor family. Sometimes members of the church, sometimes my mum's friends or whatever. They'd just have like boxes and boxes of shit that like their kids grew out of, and then they'd give it to us because they knew we were poor. We got a lot of Star Wars toys that way. I think when my dad, he hadn't remarried yet. Maybe he had, but his partner, that wasn't my mum, her kids were quite a bit older than me and my brothers. So they had loads and loads of old toys they were getting rid of. So they gave us boxes and boxes of old toys. Included in there was like original Star Wars figures. The ones with some of them had like the Darth Vader and the Obi-Wan had the lightsabers in the arms. A little plastic stick. You like push a little thing and it pushes the lightsaber out of the, and they don't actually make noises, but just shitty little plastic figures that are probably worth money these days. But we played with them because they were toys. But there were loads. There was ships. There was an X-wing, a Y-wing. Y-wing because it helps me fly. Y-wing. A snow speeder. That you could actually put the little R2-D2 toys, which we had. I don't know when and how or where they got all these toys, but they had almost one of everything at least. A Wampa, the snow beast thing, but you could actually put the little R2-D2 in the bit of the ship on the whatever. Maybe it's the X-wing that has the bit with you, but still, really, really fucking cool. And then I think I've mentioned this before. We had a Rancor toy, and a Jabba the Hutt with his pit. He had a pit that he sat on, and if you take him off it, the pit opens up, and there's like molded plastic, like skeletons and shit underneath him. And then he sits on that, and we had the Jabba the Hutt toy with his little monkey guy that sits next to him, and the little dome thing with the shit in it. And Bib Fortuna, I meant to mention Bib Fortuna. In a previous episode, I was talking about alien names or something, Star Wars names. And Bib Fortuna was one I was trying to think of, but couldn't remember it. It's the guy with the white, like, tentacle hair thing. We had him. He goes with Jabba. I had a Rancor toy, like a big plastic fucking badass Rancor toy that was, like, obviously made of hollow plastic. what we realised is, because its mouth opened and closed, you could fit, we had a Yoda toy as well, you could fit the Yoda toy in the mouth of the Rancor, and then we did that, and then we never got him out again. And so anytime you picked up the Rancor toy, you could hear Yoda rattling around inside him, because he got eaten by the Rancor and was lost in there forever. Also, one of my earliest memories actually is carrying the Millennium Falcon, because we had a Millennium Falcon as well. All these fucking... This shit would be worth money, but it's not, and it was never going to be. I was carrying the Millennium Falcon downstairs when I was like maybe not even 2, out in front of me, and I couldn't see the stairs, and then suddenly I was at the bottom of the stairs and the Millennium Falcon wasn't in my hands anymore, and I had fallen down the stairs because I was trying to carry the Millennium Falcon down the stairs in front of me, and I couldn't see the stairs, and I misstepped and I fell down the stairs. That's very, very funny. All of that is to say, I think this book was amongst a bunch of that kind of shit. And I remember looking through it as a young'un, as a wee lad, and being horrified by the artwork. That, I remember this so clearly, the Manticore drawing. There's a Manticore too. Even just the cover, I remember looking at this. It had the word sorcery on it, had a word I couldn't pronounce, and then hills. Shamutanti. Imagine a 5-6-year-old trying to pronounce Shamutanti. I just don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right now. Who fucking knows? I didn't know what this was. I genuinely thought it was some thing of magic, because there's like a spell book in the back with all these 3-digit... Oh, these would be good goblin names. Fuck. Nip, Huff, Fix, Snap, Gack, Kin, Pep, Sap, Dud, Mag, Fog, Dim, Pop, Foul, Niff, Jig, Howl, Doc, Yob, Gum, Gob, Doz, Raz, Dop, Lord, Dumb, Bigs, Work, 6, Hot, Foff, Wall, Zap, Zen, Yaz, Fix, Huff, Kid, Rap, Yap, Zip, Zed, Res, Fop, Piss. That's all I need at the end, is just this. Piss! They're just books. It's okay to write in them. It's fine. And like I said, this has already got shit written in it. This horrified me, this book, as a kid. I thought it was some mystical, ancient spell text, because it had magic in it, had the word sorcery, it had... This was scary to me. The cave with the spiked rocks, this fucking weird looking lion with a man's face, a scorpion's tail and wings. I didn't know what the fuck I was looking at. It horrified me. But I'd look through at this artwork and just be terrified. Fucking terrified. Look at that. Fucking look at that. Ogre and like a rock crushing machine or something. That's horrifying. And that, not now. Now we look at that and go, pfft. People back then must have been stupid if they were scared of that. They must have been fucking idiots back in the day. Everyone in olden times was stupid in the head. They were a bunch of fat fucking idiots. How did they get anything done? They didn't even have phones or computers. They must have been fucking morons. To be scared of that. But, you know, for a kid... So it's John Blanche is the artist of these books. I assume he did all of the artwork, including covers and stuff. I'm not 100% sure, and I'm not really realistically going to research it anymore than that. But so he's known primarily as being a long-time Games Workshop artist. If you know Warhammer and Games Workshop, then you almost certainly have seen and know of John Blanche's artwork. Really, really good, like, creepy gothic style of artwork, of illustration, of painting and stuff. And very mucky and dirty as well, in terms of, like, his colours and his approach to painting and drawing. And even in illustrations like this, there's a lot of, like, texture and grime and dirt in them. I think I felt that back in the day as well. Maybe there's something to that. Maybe that affected me in some kind of way. But yeah, like weird lepers and shit and all raggedy clothes and just it looks dirty and ragged and aged and horrible. I fucking love that shit. See, this was scary to me, some mystical black clothed figure in the forest. You imagine seeing that shit and just being like, fuck, he's gonna kill me with his fucking sword. I love the spot illustrations. That's like an orc face. That's almost exactly like a Warhammer illustration with the sort of checkerboard element to it as well. A hydra. A fucking hydra. Look at that. It's got about 1 billion heads. All these snake heads. One of the things I love about John Blanche's illustrations is if I was to draw this, I'd be so worried about keeping the thickness consistent. Like it has to be a certain thickness all the way through and then taper just towards the head but not all the way, and every loop of every snake head has to like loop well and not get in front of other heads and stay interconnected but separate from each other. Not to say that this doesn't obey any of those sorts of rules, but it feels a lot more natural and a lot less laboured over than I might make it. And it still works as an illustration. You can almost look at it and say parts of it appear almost amateurish and like could be more refined. But in the same token, you can say it doesn't need that. It doesn't need to be polished. It doesn't need to be perfected because it works as it is, as a book illustration, as a depiction of, I don't know if it's a snake monster or just many snakes. But I love it. A lot of different textures as well. It's not just one kind of scale texture. There's a bunch of different lines and things going on. And that's very cool. Look, every page is... You can give them out to your friends and take them home as souvenirs. That's what a good book does. It gives you something to pass around. A goblin in the woods. A goblin in the woods. I heard a goblin in the woods. There's a little bird in the tree there. Can't beat that. Can't beat a little goblin in the woods. Even the roots, I remember thinking about these roots when I was a kid. Like, that was creepy just in itself. Because it's like I read it as tree roots, but it doesn't look like roots of a tree that I've seen. It looks... There's something like gangly and creepy about it. This artwork affected me when I was young. Fucking voodoo priests cooking and eating people. This illustration, I loved this. I might try and get a huge print of this made because look at it. This village of like, I don't know, unwell people with leprosy and diseases and shit, or like shadowy figures in doorways crawling away from you looking terrified in these dilapidated ramshackle huts, thatched roofs and shit hanging from them. I don't even know if that's just a bit of a rag or like an animal or something. And there's like floor texture, as I always say in comic books or whatever. You can tell a good illustrator by how they do floors. If the floors are just fucking bland and flat, then fuck them. They're shit and they don't know what they're doing. But if the floor's got good texture on it, and there's a good plane here. It is a very visible, like, it doesn't look, it doesn't ruin the perspective or anything. Really good floor texture. And it's like the texture amasses more around the base of like the objects in the frame, and then sort of spreads out a bit here and there. Yeah, I love that so much. I think that's fantastic. And there's a little like mist of something, just I guess stippled, something in the background, almost like flies or whatever. And there are flies dotted around. Really, really good. And again, when I was a kid, that was horrifying to me. Just terrifying shit. And then there's just stuff. which is cool, I guess. And sometimes that's fun to illustrate when it's like, oh, you're peering into a tent and there's some boxes on a table, some seats. Shit, that's like... The texture here is basically the texture I use to fill in backgrounds of anything and everything. I'm not saying I got it from here, and there are many illustrators who use a very similar technique of, like, it's not hatching, but it's putting a bunch of parallel lines in one bit and then parallel lines going a different way and then a different way and a different way, and it creates this kind of like just texture. It's literally just texture, but it's really good for filling up space, basically. So yeah, a lot of artists and illustrators use that, some more neatly and more uniform than others. And so I think I picked it up from various places, and then I just use it. I'm not claiming it or anything, but I use it. And this probably isn't one of the places I necessarily had seen it, but it happens to be a place that also uses it. Probably can't see on camera what the fuck it is I'm talking about. But if you know any of my drawings, you'd almost certainly know. If you know me and my artwork, because I'm a famous artist, this scared me. Oh look, someone tried to tape it back together. The fools! Some fucking old guy in a tree, and everything's textured. There's like... The only empty space is like the sky or whatever it is. That sort of... it's so good. There's like a bee's nest or a wasp nest or something. Bees and shit around. And this guy textured as fuck. The trees textured as fuck. And it's not even like realistic tree texture. It doesn't look like bark or whatever. But it's an old fucking gangly, grimy, spooky looking tree. And the texture kind of reflects that. It's just roughness and dirt, and that is also on the guy. I like the texture of his hair and stuff, his dirty face, his eyes are like different sizes and shit, his old ragged clothes and things. Yeah, it's a fantastic illustration. This is I've tried to do it a couple of times. I don't think I ever really saw it through. This is obviously a fighting fantasy book, a choose your own adventure book, where you start off page 1, I guess, and you awake at sunrise. After dressing, you breakfast on a blurb, and then you go to the gate, and this is the gatekeeper, and then you begin your quest. Setting off, you follow the path. Your quest is begun. Turn to 178. Then it's like, oh shit, okay. So you find 178. It's fucking far away. God damn it, I've got to go all the way. 178. The path winds through fields of wild scrubland. Do you see a guy? Tell him you're a trader. Turn here. Ask for directions. Turn to 33. Tell him you're hungry and need provisions. Turn to 198. So you can make different choices. You turn to different things, and they all do different thing, and they take you different places, different parts of the story, different, which is a really genius thing and a cool idea. Again, when I was a kid, I did not understand it at all. Something I wanted to do, and again had sort of started and stopped a couple of times, is go through this book. This one specifically, I have a couple more I might look through, but this one specifically, and for every paragraph, every item, do an illustration, so it becomes like an illustrated story based on the choices you make throughout the story. So when you come to a monster, draw the monster. That would be the illustration. If you come to a fork in the road, draw the fork in the road. That would be the illustration. And it's a project I'd still love to do at some point. The story could end after like 10 illustrations, depending on where you go and if you lose a fight or whatever. Or it could go on to be like 50 to 100 illustrations. I don't know. But I think that would make a really cool... Maybe I'll do it as a podcast series. I'll do 100 podcast episodes. That's how we'll make it to episode 666. Is I'll just do episode after episode after episode illustrating another... Or even if it's only a handful of episodes, I think that would be quite a cool little podcast series. This freaked me out as well. Just the weird, horrible looking villagers drinking in the tavern. They all just look worn out and old and dirty and miserable. And the scene reflects how they look. They fit really well into the scene. Everything's textured. Everything's got life. It's not always good life, but it's life. Some fucking guys. Ah! A snake monster. Skulls and shit. That's cool. That's a good illustration. Are there more shit I can look at? Oh, zapping some goblins. That's cool. That's an action shot. There's not many of those. The lightning zap of magic hitting the goblin and the rays of light coming off of them. Their pickaxes all look cool. They all look like worn and weathered. Each of them look different. They all look different. Some really, really great artwork in this book. That goblin's getting eaten by a fucking wolf! And he can't believe it. He's like, oh, what's going on? Why is this wolf in the house? Eating my friend. Oh, no. Oh, well, fucking... That's a cool sword illustration. I like that. Would it make a cool zine? It might make a good zine if I illustrated each segment of an adventure through the Shamutanti Hills, put it together as a zine. I don't know if anyone would care, but it would be cool drawings. Maybe people would care about that. And of course, it would make sense, of course, to pair each drawing with the paragraph of text that it's illustrating. So then it would be an illustrated tale. It would be a story told with the words, but through the illustrations. I like these guys. Whoever they are. Some goblin traders or something. I like the combination of textures and lines. I like that it looks dirty and messy, but it's clearly drawn enough that you can see everything that's going on. I also like that each page has a random couple of dice, because then if you don't have dice to actually play with, you can, that's done specifically, so you can do this, flip to a random page and go, oh, I rolled a 9, or I rolled an 8, or I rolled a 5, or I rolled a 9, or I rolled, you get it. So I have these also. I thought initially, oh, I'll look through the artwork in these books. These are the two next ones in the series, continuing the adventure, I guess. Again, artwork by John Blanche, which is great to see. If nothing else, maybe next episode I'll go through both of these. I might not. I don't fucking know. Fucking whatever. That's cool though. Sex Cauldron! I randomly just thought of that. It's from The Simpsons. When they're saying, oh, I'm talking about not talking about sex in front of the children. And then Krusty in the back. Sex Cauldron! I thought they closed that place down. That was very, very funny. I watched 28 Years Later again. Because something about it just wasn't quite clicking with me or sticking with me. I really want to like it. I want to love it. I want to watch the new 28 time frame later movie, and I want to love it. I didn't love the previous one, so there's no reason I should. The original is fine on its own as it is. It doesn't need a continuation. It's fine. But it's a new one of the thing, and I really, really want to love it. And I rewatched it and I tried to love it, but there's just something that's not quite there. It's irritating. It's I feel like it could be really fucking good, but it just, I don't know. Maybe they tried to do too many little things in it, because there's the different kinds. There's a couple of different kinds of infected now, and that's neat. It's a neat detail, and they kind of mention one and then they sort of focus on another, but that feels a little bit disparate. And then there's the mum has a thing, and then she does this thing, and you're like, oh, but then that doesn't come up again, and there's the pregnant thing and the baby, and that's sort of kind of integral to the story, but not really integral to the. And there's the dad is like this, and then kind of like, but then he doesn't really play but that's because he's like that. And there's too many. There's the soldiers, and he's there for a bit, and then it helps them here, but then he's gone, and then does he need to be, because it gives context to the wider, but they could have done and that's the problem. That's how I feel watching it. I watch 28 days later and I go, yep, perfect, brilliant, everything, step. But then I watch 28 years later and I'm like, step, this, that, here, go, but this, it doesn't feel as cohesive. It doesn't feel like it gels, like it flows as well, which is frustrating, because I'm a huge fan of the medium, of the original story, of the world they've created. I think it's great. It's fantastic. And there's the scene where not right at the start, but sort of more or less right at the start, where they're leaving the island, they're going to the mainland. The editing, the sound. There's that poem. I looked it up. It's a poem by Rudyard Kipling. He's a British writer. Wrote The Jungle Book, which I knew the name, and I knew he'd written The Jungle Book and Just So stories, because my mum used to read me Just So stories when I was a kid, which is like little fantasy, somewhat surreal, made-up tales about. There's one, how the elephant got its trunk, how the giraffe got its neck, those kinds of things, like made-up tales about, like, I can't remember any of them because I don't care, but of like the elephant used to have a short nose, but then he tried to pull something or lift something and it stretched it out, and now elephants' noses are stretched out like that. And then similar things with the giraffe's neck, and I don't know, fucking the hippopotamus's anus, the finch's ball bag, the kangaroo's foreskin that became its pouch. I don't know, those kinds of things. The Just So stories, they're Rudyard Kipling, and he wrote this poem. I can't remember the name of it. It might be called Boots. But if you haven't seen 28 years later, then I guess you won't get it. But if you have, you'll know. The boots on the ground again. It's something like that. It's a poem about, like, not the horrors of war, but like the unending, maddening continuation of war, the monotony and the drilling into your brain of war, of boots on the ground again, men, and they're all fighting shit, fuck, and shit, cunt, fuck, and piss, and the poem builds like that, and it's this. I'd never heard it before. It'd been used in a few places as like a soundbite or whatever. I think it's an American actor reading it, but it's a really interesting sounding and sort of intense poem that, yeah, sort of describes and illustrates this sense of, like, ongoing madness of war, and what war is and what war does to people, only in the sense of, like, troops, not the wider horrors of war. And it's used really effectively in 28 years later. I really enjoy that sequence, and it's paired with like lots of images, like flashes of warfare throughout history. There's a lot of imagery in the film of like warfare from like medieval times, bows and arrows and stuff, because the part of England they're in, at least, has had to revert back to those kinds of times where they don't have power, they don't have, you know, modern weaponry or whatever. So there's lots of crossover imagery there with, you know, those kinds of times, those ages, the Middle Ages or whatever. And so yeah, that imagery paired with the current imagery of the film, paired with that poem, and the poem like cuts in and cuts out with the characters talking about where they're going and what they're doing, and then that's intercut with these little quick cuts of like darkness but with red light, so it's intense red imagery of these naked infected bodies like screaming and snarling and like coming at the camera and stuff with their eyes like picked out, like glowing in the darkness, like how you see when you see footage shot with like a night vision camera where the eyes kind of glow slightly. It's like that, but like this deep intense red instead of the green that it normally would be. Really like fantastic, horrifying, scary imagery. Again, that poem, and the two characters going off to like hunt or whatever it is they're doing. It's a fantastic sequence. It's only really maybe a couple of minutes long, but it's great. And the film has moments like that are thoroughly enjoyable and intense and emotional, and they do a lot for the film and for the story. But for me, there's just... The film, for me, doesn't need to be that consistently, but there's too much other shit that's just like... I really want to like this film, but it's just a bit frustrating as well. Also, Aaron Taylor Johnson's just boring as fuck. I never liked him. There's some people like that. Ben Stiller, cannot fucking stand Ben Stiller. His face, the way he talks, the way he carries himself, the way he reacts, the way he acts, the way he reacts, the way he just is. There's everything about Ben Stiller just gets under my skin. It's like bugs crawling under me just by looking at him. It's just like, ugh. He's just, ugh. I just fucking can't stand him as a person. Like, everyone tells me, oh, Tropic Thunder is one of the best films ever. Cannot watch it. Cannot watch a minute of that film. I don't find it particularly funny anyway, but also... that's why I was incredibly frustrated to learn that Ben Stiller is like the guy behind Severance, because Severance is really good, and that annoyed me a lot. But Aaron Taylor Johnson, I think that's his name, is close to that for me. I can't get on board with how he is, how he holds himself, his acting. Also, he's never really given particularly great roles. In Kick-Ass was the first thing I saw him in. I got the comics of Kick-Ass because it had the word ass in it, and it was about a kid trying to be a superhero, and it was drawn by John Romita Jr., who was, at least then, one of my favourite artists, and still kind of is today. So I got the comics because it was John Romita Jr. and it's ass, and it's whatever. And then they made it into a film, and I was like, oh, cool, I'll watch this, and then it was shit. For one thing, Aaron Taylor Johnson is a fairly typically attractive guy, especially nowadays. He's a tall, handsome, well-built actor, even though he's shit. And so even when he was a bit younger in Kick-Ass, he was still basically that, whereas the kid in Kick-Ass is very much supposed to be a weird, scrawny nerd kid, and his friends are weird fucking nerds, and he's got a big nose and glasses, and he's awkward. But then, like everything they do all the time when they make these sorts of films, they cast a really handsome actor to play this awkward nerd character. And it's like, no! Just fucking no! I'm not believing it for an instant. It's completely wrong. You've ruined the entire film on the first step of here's the main character. No, I don't believe it. It doesn't work for me. It's not happening. It's shit because of that. Also, Nicolas Cage is another one of those actors who I just cannot get behind, and he's in Kick-Ass too. But then every other film Aaron Taylor Johnson's in is just sort of kind of meh films. He was in Godzilla, one of the dullest, most lifeless roles I've ever seen a person act in my life was Aaron Taylor Johnson in Godzilla. He played a main part, and maybe that was the direction he was given, I don't know, but just and it was like the brand new Godzilla movie. It was supposed to be this huge fucking thing, and I mean they ruined it because they gave it this human side that they focused on way too much in the wrong ways as well, because Godzilla films have had the human side and focused on it and made it good. Godzilla -1 is very, very good. But it's just shit and boring in the new one. They killed off the one good actor, Bryan Cranston, quite early on, which is just like, what are you doing? If you've got Bryan Cranston in your movie, you use Bryan Cranston in your movie. What the fuck are you doing focusing on Aaron Taylor fucking Johnson? Idiots, man. Absolute fucking idiots. I could make a better film than that. Boo, boo, boo. He says, drawing whatever the fuck it is he's drawing. And so it annoyed me that, even from the trailer, the fact that Aaron Taylor Johnson was in 28 years later, it just sort of annoyed me. My hopes weren't too high, but they dropped considerably when I saw that Aaron Taylor Johnson was in. He was in Nosferatu. Have you seen Nosferatu? That was good. I saw the new War of the Worlds. I was just seeing how long I've been recording for, because I'm like, have we got another 3 hours I could spend? I mean, obviously anyone and everyone has and can and has talked about the new War of the Worlds featuring Ice Cube as Ice Cube in Ice Cube's Amazon's War of the Worlds. It's a travesty of modern filmmaking. It's a very good sort of symbol of modern sort of mentality around movies. It's very sort of like the peak of how companies put out movies as product and product placement, as opposed to actually making like film. So I'm not going to say too much about it, just because, you know, obviously doomed from the start and just garbage, just fucking I wouldn't have bothered, except War of the Worlds is one of my favourite books by H.G. Wells. I've read a bunch of his stuff. The First Man in the Moon is one of his. Time Machine, I love the book of the Time Machine. I've read a couple of others as well, I can't recall right now. But War of the Worlds, one of my favourite actual, like it's in my mental list of, if somebody ever asks me if I have favourite books, War of the Worlds is one of them. Because I really, really enjoyed reading that. Day of the Triffids is another one where a bunch of plants fucking murder everyone. Dracula is one of my favourite books, kind of. I love the story of Dracula, but I don't like how it's told in the book. Because it's interestingly told, because it's written as if it's all like, almost like a found footage film would be, where it's all put together through journal entries, letters written to and from people, newspaper clippings and stuff. Like none of the book is directly people talking to people or people experiencing events. It's all told through people recollecting or talking about events and people, which is quite interesting, especially for the time it was written. It's a very interesting way of telling a story. However, there's one bit in particular I absolutely fucking despise, where there's a character, I can't remember the exact context, it's a long time since I've read it. I think it's something to do with a zoo or something, and it's like a newspaper clipping article or whatever, and they're interviewing some guy about what happened. I think like animals at the zoo went ballistic because of Dracula something. So the guy they're talking to has a really thick, I don't know for sure, I think it's like a West Country accent. I think he talks like this. And he was talking about the animals leaving the zoo, and they all went down the very corridor, like that. And I know that's his accent because the story, the newspaper article, is written phonetically to like spell out how he pronounces things. I can't think of an example. I wouldn't know where to find it in the book, but it sort of spells out his accent. So as you're reading it, the words aren't written in plain English. So you're like trying to read it as he would be saying it, which is just annoying. Because what they should do is say this character had a very strong West Country accent. And then I, in my head, go, oh, okay, I sort of know what that sounds like. So I'll read his words in that accent. Instead of writing out the words as they would be pronounced by, it's so fucking infuriating to read. And it puts such like a wall that you have to climb over whilst reading. It's so irritating. But it's not just that it's irritating. That's not even the worst part. Because the fact is, the within the fiction of the story, it's supposed to be from a newspaper article where a journalist was interviewing the guy about whatever happened. The newspaper would not write out how he was pronouncing what. They'd just write Mr. Pissface from West Yorkshire had this to say, and then they'd write in English what he said, and you either choose to read it or not read it in his accent. They wouldn't spell out the words as he was saying them. I tooked my fucking wife to the farm, and we done went. Like, it's written like that, and it's like, don't, why would you fucking do that? It's the worst way to write shit. I fucking hate it so much. And Dracula is arguably one of like the greatest works of, not maybe literally, but it is a great classic work of fiction. A great story, a great book overall. But that being in it makes me absolutely fucking despise it. I hate it so much. Like, needlessly, like insane amounts of hatred for that fucking goddamned. So what are we drawing today? Oh, wow, I'm glad you asked. On today's episode, this is something I've sort of wanted to illustrate for a while, but it's never really gotten around to it. It's more Cool Keith lyrics. It's from the song The Countdown, off the Doctor Doom album. What are the lyrics? The birds fly, I punch the bull in his eyes. Oh, have I been spitting food out? Ugh, I'm sorry if that was visible. The birds fly, I punch the bull in his eyes. Pull the horns off his head. Rodeo headlock his head till he's turning red. Look up, you see the elephant laying in my bed. And that's the end of it. And then it's the chorus. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step up and get shot down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We taking over your town. 10, 9, 8, 7. I mean, you get how numbers work. And so the birds fly. There's some birds flying. I punch the bull in his eyes. He's punching the bull in his eyes. Pull the horns off his head, which I kind of got here, but it's not great. Rodeo headlock his head till he's turning red. I should get some red in there, shouldn't I? Get some red in there, like your mum. That doesn't even. I'd love to hug your mum. I don't want to. All jokes aside, haha, had sex with your mum. I don't even care about having sex with your mum. I just want to hug her, give her a good hug, and make her go, "Oh, that was a really nice hug, Ewan. Thank you." All the while thinking, mum tits are pressing against me. We love it. We love it. Just so we're clear, it's not an edible thing, because the idea of physical contact with my own family disgusts me. So it's not a thing like it's a taboo thing. It's because it's somebody else's mother, somebody else's partner, wife, and they've chosen to squash their boobs against me. And maybe they're Christian, and then it's even more taboo, and it's like, oh, these are boobs that shouldn't be pressed against my face, but they are. And they're squishy and warm, and I love it. And that's what I want to do with your mum. I want to have your mum's fat, warm tits squashed against me. Until she's turning red. I think that's where I was going with that. So there you go. There's the bull. So it's Gun Viking. I've made it Gun Viking because I figured the bull, the Minotaur, Gun Viking versus the Minotaur. And this was not intentional, but it happens to be the case that the song is the countdown, and the countdown, the chorus is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We do. It's the 10th anniversary of Gun Viking, and I'm doing Gun Viking versus the Minotaur. I decided to draw these today. This isn't something I was like, oh, now it's the 10th anniversary, I can finally do the... I just thought it would be fun to illustrate this today. Then I realised after having that thought, oh, that's from the song Countdown, and it's the 10, and it's the 10th of the is. Can you even tell that this Gun Viking putting a headlock on a bull? I don't think it's clear at all. And then this is the bull's hand here, as he's like going, "Oh god, my fucking head, you prick!" Well, Minotaur, bull, Minotaur, they're all one and the same, really, isn't it? And his arm, sort of here, like this. I might do this up neat as like a piece of bonus artwork illustration, because I don't think it will fit into the story, but it would make for just a cool illustration of Gun Viking putting the Minotaur in a headlock and his face going all like red and pink. And look, I gave him a bull ring in his nose, which I was sort of debating giving the Minotaur in the comic like a bull ring in his nose. I think maybe I intended to, and then when I did that reference drawing painting, I didn't put it in there, I just didn't think to do that. And then anytime I've looked at that for reference, my brain hasn't registered the idea of a nose ring because it hasn't seen it in that reference image, and so I just didn't put one in. I could add one in. There's literally nothing stopping me from... I mean, he's only visible in one piece that I've done so far, but I could absolutely add a nose ring in if I choose to. I might fucking not. I don't know. It's none of your business. Leave me alone, prick.